si podia acabar el dia tranquil·lament i poder estar fresqueta i anar.
Bona tarda.
Good afternoon.
Bona tarda.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your attendance. We will start this press conference with Gerard Pique. Please remember to say your name and your means before asking your questions.
Asking the question, please. Thank you. Comencem aquí.
Hola, Gerard.
Hi, Gerard. This is Andreas Gines from Barca TV. The Champions is back. Guardiola is back to Nou Camp. Also bravo. Games like tomorrow's, even in the group stage, is quite motivating, isn't it? Hi. Yes. These games are big matches. Matches in which we need to give the most. And playing against City, a very different City to the one of last year and to the one that had visited us in Camp Nou over the years. Because Pep is in charge now, and he has made the way they see and play football, and also the way he understands how people should play this game. I think this will make the game to be a challenge for us. This team plays very similarly to us. We will try to use our weapons. We will try to hold the ball, to have possession by creating goal opportunities, but we know that they will be playing very similarly to us. They will be pressuring. We will find it difficult to get the ball out of our part of the pitch, and it will be a good challenge to be able to demonstrate that we're still on top, winning tomorrow. Hi, Gerard. Good morning. This is Marc Garriga from Catalunya Radio. At the beginning of the training session, we saw Luis Enrique talking to Sergio Busquets. This pressure is one of your main concerns? Is it something that you've been working on, focusing on tomorrow's match? Well, it's something that we have been working on ever since we started the season, something that we've been working on ever since Luis Enrique joined the team. This is one of the stages that we focus more on. If we exert the right pressure, the team will be much more stable and we won't be subject to counterattacks from our rivals. It will not be a go forth and back game. It'll be a stage where we need to have control of the game. That's why we are working on it, as we have done in the past. Hi, Gerard. Good morning. Dan Furnós from RAC 1, to your left. I don't know whether, considering the results in your group, getting to this midpoint, if you win, you might ensure your classification or even the first position in the group. Are you thinking of it about this, or are you just considering the game as a 3-point game? No. We're in this group to try and classify and be the first. And in order to reach this goal, we need to win tomorrow. We will make a significant step in achieving that if we do, but there will be other games that we need to win as well. Tomorrow's game is a really important one, but if we're able to win tomorrow, we are almost classified, and City would be 5 points behind us. We would have good margin. But we need to focus on tomorrow's game. That's the key match for us right now. Hi, Gerard. Adrià Albeig, Cadena SER. It's the first time that you talk since you announced that you will be leaving the national team in 2018 after the World Cup. Is this a final decision, or is there any option for you to reconsider and to come and play again for the national squad? Before answering that question, I would like to say that this will be the only question I will answer on this topic, because tomorrow's game has nothing to do with the Spanish national team. In November, if the coach calls me, I will go and I will answer any questions you will have, but I don't think this is the time. In relation to your answer, it is a final decision. Maybe events precipitated in Albania. I did not want to notify that my decision then, but I wasn't too happy after the news that later on was demonstrated it was false, and I felt I had to say it out then. I have read a lot. I've read Twitter erased me, whether Marca Arenas, after publishing false news, also got rid of me, whether it was Marianita with his pamphlet also got rid of me or took me out from the national squad. But that's not it. This is a decision I have taken because I believe I deserve to leave when and how I want to. After 10 years, when I'm 31 after the World Cup, if the coach calls me to play, which I cannot guarantee, then I will be playing for Spain for 10 years, so many others in other national inferior categories, and it'll be the time to leave it. That's what I think. I think that's the best option for me, to take a step to one side after the World Cup for future generations who are doing really well to take the space I have taken over this period of time. Hi, Gerard, this is Silvia from COPE. Yesterday, it was announced that Neymar would be signing the renewal of his agreement until 2021. Do you see him retiring in Barcelona? I hope so. He's a player who arrived here very young. He has demonstrated a great deal. He still has a lot of potential to give much more during his career. Obviously, he is still young. And let's hope we can enjoy him for many years. But we know how football is. We need to live the moment. We need to live this season. We need to win titles, and every year is a different story. Many different things can happen. And the football players' careers can take many different paths in one way or another, depending on how everything goes. So I think that Ney's career is still long, and we need to enjoy the time he is with us. Hi, Gerard. Lozano from Onda Cero. Pep Guardiola will be coming back tomorrow, a man who has marked the history of this club. It is not the first time he comes back. He also came here with Bayern. Much has been said about his exit, about certain controversies with some players. As he so said in a press conference, he said, "I'm leaving because otherwise we'll get harmed." I won't ask you about the past, so I'll ask you about the present. What about your relationship with him? Does it flow? Do you have some sort of a relationship with him? Do the players have a good relationship with him today? I think that Pep marked us all of those who were under him for 4 years in one way or another. I think there was a moment before and after Pep Guardiola. We understand football in a different way ever since he was here with us. And he changed the history of the club. The only thing I can say is words of praise to a coach who gave us a great deal. And for me in particular, he gave me the opportunity because I came from Manchester where I didn't play, and he afforded me the opportunity here. The concept we have is clearly the best possible for him, and we do have a great memory of him. Gerard, Carlos Escoral, live for Radio Marca. Taking Edgar's question, you said that you still got 3 games to play after tomorrow's game, but having seen the result and the draw in Selting Park, do you think this is a good opportunity tomorrow to not eliminate Manchester City, but affect them? Well, we just look at what we do. At the end of the day, we need to focus on what we do. We need to try and win the game. Then City will also try to win the game, obviously, and they will try to classify. Each of us need to follow our own path, but we need to be concerned with what we need to do, which is win the games that are left. Tomorrow we hope to take a step further into the classification, and with the goal of being the first in our group.
Nick Collins from Sky Sports News. Can I ask you, did you watch Liverpool-Manchester United last night? Okay.
No, sorry.
You didn't. All right, well, let me ask you this. How much more of a threat are Manchester City under Pep Guardiola than they were when you beat them 4 times under Manuel Pellegrini?
I think Manchester City is a different team from last year and from all the years that they came here to play in Camp Nou with Manuel Pellegrini. I think that their style of play is different. They pressure a lot, really high. They try to have the ball and create chances, and I think that they play more or less the same style as us, because obviously Pep Guardiola was here for a lot of years, and he understands football as the same way as we understand. So it will be a really challenging game, and I hope we can win.
Hola Gerard, buenos días.
Hi, Gerard. In the database in UEFA, you are classified as a fullback. Should we change that as a striker or a forward? Because you're not doing that bad, are you? Oh, just put me whatever position you want me to put. You can put me as a striker, as a forward, as a midfielder. I don't mind. I enjoy playing as a fullback. Obviously, as a forward, I do go up a little bit, especially when I get bored, but fullback is the one I enjoy the most. Albert Limos from Diari Ara. Earlier, you said that, Gerard, you have seen many football games. You've seen City before, I'm sure. What team could feel more comfortable or less comfortable by taking a step back and looking for spaces without having the ball? Because both clubs follow the same style of play by controlling the ball. Which of these teams, according to the characteristics of the players and the coaches, could feel more comfortable by waiving what you actually are? Well, since we've been working with Luis Enrique, we have improved our version at the counter-attack, and also on account of the football players we have. We've got very fast players who really like to take the counter-attack once we recover the possession of the ball. But we don't know how to play like that, really. I mean, we can do that once, 2 or 3 times during the game. We like to have possession of the ball to control the game and then create our chances. This is what we will try to do tomorrow. We will not renounce to be and play the way we want to. They can do so if they want, but we will play our style. We will focus on the attack, on trying to have the ball, on imposing our own style and pace. And if they want to play the same way, then the quality of the players will be the decisive factor. And that's our goal, to be better than them. Good morning, Gerard. Xavi Hernandez for Diari Marca. Since the game against Alaves, 1-2, you've played 90 minutes in all games up to now. Along with Ney, you are the only one who has not taken a rest. Don't you get tired? And also, how do you see yourself without going into the rotations of being so important for the coach? Well, no, I don't get tired. I love it. Playing every 3 games is what my body is used to over the years. I love to help the team as much as I can, and not being in the bench. I'm sure I will go into the bench at some day, as I did in the game against Alaves, or when the coach decides. In the end, we will all have a rest at some point. But I think that the injury of Samuel and Jeremy, I think, was also injured for a few days. That means that in the defense, we have not had many players available, and I've really been happy to play all of these games so far. I will try to make my question without trembling, because it's quite cold. Oh, there is an air conditioning just above you, right? Well, yeah. I'm feeling it. Anyway, if the decision to leave the national team, it's not a question about the national team, but does this condition the fact of extending your career in Barcelona? Have you also considered that? Have you planned when you want to end your career here? Well, I always set myself short, mid, and long-term goals. I've thought about it thoroughly, and it's one of the possibilities. I will try to extend my time here as much as possible, which is my club, the club of my life, the club I love. But talking about whether I will extend it more or less, let's just see what my condition is. The age and the head will mark and will set the time when I will need to leave. Motivation is also key. Feeling motivated, of getting up every day and wanting to be better is also important. So we'll see. In the short midterm, next 2 years, I will enjoy as much as possible the games with the national team. I'm really willing to do so. I hope to play another World Cup. It will be a dream come true to me, and try to win it as well. I think we've got a great team, and the coach, Julen, I think is doing an amazing job. And then, once I leave the national team, we'll see. We'll see what the situation is with Barcelona, and we'll see how many years I can play here. Hi, Gerard. Claudia Collado from Movistar Plus. You have had a chance to play with Pep Guardiola here in Barcelona, now under Luis Enrique. Which one would you choose of these two stages? Well, it's difficult to compare. If you compare the two first years of both coaches, I think they won the same titles. We won the same titles. I think we also won the 3 main cups, the 2 leagues. Many different things were won. When it comes to titles, I would even say the same ones, actually. And when it comes to personal issues, I also had a very good relationship with both of them. And in terms of the situation between the coach and the team, it's been good with both, and Luis is contributing a great deal. We came from a time with Tata where we didn't win anything that year, and the team was not very motivated. Then Luis came back and he turned things around, very similar to the situation with Pep the last year with Rijkaard. He turned things around too. So I would say that the two stages are very similar. They, as coaches, have their similarities, and I think that we're living another golden age, which we hope will last as long as possible under Luis Enrique. Hi. Andrés Corpas from Diario El Mundo. In current football, in the football that is being played, what is what you like the least, and what is what you like the most? Thanks. I'm talking about the environment, the climate, and all the paraphernalia surrounding football, everything. What I like the most? Well, I'd say it's probably the fact that every time we have more access to more information and we can consume and use more football around the world. Television, sometimes we complain about the times, about the schedules and many things, but one of the great things that television has given to us is that we can see football from Germany, from England, from France, from any part of the world. And I remember years ago, it was really difficult to do that. Years ago, we can only see Spanish football and that's it. But now we can have a more global concept of football, about positions, where players play, about the level in other parts of the world. And for someone who is a football fan, I think this is really important. The most negative aspect, I would probably say, that especially in this country, there's a culture of talking more and more about what is not going on in the pitch. And that's what sells. If this happens, it's because it sells. And it's a true shame. It's a pity. But at the end is what consumers decide. If consumers decide that's what they want, that is what televisions will give them. They only sell what people buy.
From the Daily Mirror. Lionel Messi made his return from injury at the weekend scoring. Even if he's not 100% match fit and match sharp, how much should Manchester City fear him and the damage that he can inevitably create on opponents?
I don't know, ask Pep Guardiola about this question. I think he's the best in the world, no doubt, and that he gives us a lot. No matter if he's 100% or he is 10%, because he is so different and so good that just his presence in the pitch, it means a lot for us and sometimes for the other team.
Hola, Gerard.
Hi, Gerard. Judith Esteban from Europa.cat. This season, we've seen you in some games by taking responsibility of the team. Do you feel that you play a role of responsibility in this team? Well, over the years, those of us who have been in the club for more years, we do take this responsibility. Not just me. I'm talking about players like Andrés, Busi, Masche, or Leo. But trying to contribute as much as possible for their team, trying to help the team as much as possible in all respects. When we win, to try and defend in the best way possible. When we're losing, to try and contribute in the attack. I also try that. That's how I think all players see it. Here, Gerard. David Bernabeu, Deportes 4. Pep signed Thiago from Barcelona in the past because the player had said he wanted to change. We've seen some paper covers this summer saying that Pep wanted to take Messi and Neymar, some of the stars. You know Pep. You know what and you know that he knows what Barca is and signifies. Do you see him doing something like this? taking players, important players who want to remain in Barcelona. I mean, Pep has been important in the club. Pep has got another project, which I think it's very important for him. I'm convinced about it. That project is Manchester City, and a club with a financial capacity like Manchester City, which can sign any player in the world. No, it's no surprise that they focus on the best players in the world, players who play in Barcelona. I don't know personally, because I haven't spoken about this with him or with players in the club, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would try to sign players of Barcelona. I wouldn't be surprised, not because Pep has been family of Barcelona for the years he was here. I think it would be stupid to think that. Gerard, Soldado from A3 Media. This week, there was an interview broadcasted on TV3, and you said in the interview that you feel really well right now, but 3 years ago you were about to leave it all. What were you referring to? What were you trying to say by saying I would leave it all? Oh, just that, leaving it all. Leaving the club, leaving the national team, leave it all. I mean, motivation is key, and when you do not have motivation, you need to look for it or you leave it. Because if you want to do something that you don't feel comfortable doing, something that does not motivate you, I think it's best to leave it and to do something else. We are fortunate because, financially speaking, will be good. But if you're not motivated, why should I continue doing things? I mean, that's the concept. That's my philosophy of life. After the World Cup, I spoke to María José Claramunt, I spoke to the coach with Vicente del Bosque, and I told them I didn't want to continue after 2014. I wasn't willing to continue. I didn't feel the passion, I didn't feel the motivation for playing football anymore. But then, talking to them, they convinced me, and I decided to change my mind. It was a question of motivation. I just didn't have the motivation then. Maybe because I had won everything when I was very young, and I felt that I didn't, know this, know that. I didn't feel it. But over the time, with Luis Enrique, with he giving us this extra, a revolution, changing things, and feel comfortable in the club, also comfortable in the national team, then now, and also publicly saying that I wanted to be one of the best in the world again, because at that time I wasn't, then all of this made me realize that I had to be back. Then I grew, and now I feel I'm back. I feel at the best time in my career. I feel much more complete than ever. I feel I can contribute in many respects, and this makes me really happy. I'm enjoying my game, and I hope to feel like this for many years. Hi, Gerard. Anthony Casamec, Sound Inglaterra. You have spoken about high pressure, possession of the ball, creation of opportunities. But if Messi is at his best, the systems just crumble, don't they? Many months ago, we said whether Pep could stop Messi, and in the end, he triumphed and Messi won. Do you think the same thing will happen tomorrow? How have you seen Messi in the days prior to his debut again? Well, I see him great. In 3 minutes, he can do something, And he is, I'll say so again, the best player in the world, the best player in history, in my opinion. I'm very fond of him since we were 13 when we started playing together. And he is really important. But I also say that Leo, with Argentina, and sometimes, Argentina sometimes doesn't win with him. It's not just him. Let's not exert so much pressure on him. Leo provides a lot, but Leo needs to be at his best. Otherwise, no matter how good he is, sometimes it's just impossible to win with one player. We all need to be at a great level. And obviously, very often he makes the difference and he wins the game, but the team needs to support him. One last question here. Rafael? Good morning. Rafa, Diverso Tutto Sport. I wanted to ask you how you feel with playing with a defensive three. Do you feel comfortable, or do you feel somewhat less protected with the defensive four? Would you be surprised if tomorrow you play with a defensive three? We feel well, more or less protected protected? Well, I wouldn't say we feel less protected, because if the team is well built and the team knows what it is doing, it'll be a defensive 3, but then it can turn into a defensive 4 and then go back to a defensive 3. There are many different ways of looking at it. We are not less protected. About tomorrow's game, I wouldn't be able to say. You'll have to ask the coach. Is he here yet? No, not yet. Just ask him later. See if you get the answer from him. But I don't know whether we will play with 3 or 4 defenders. Regardless of how we play, the important thing is the philosophy, is what we want to convey in the pitch and how we want to play. At the end of the day, the system is based on numbers that can change. Midfielders can play in the defense, defenders can play in the midfield in different stages of the game. I wouldn't give too much importance in playing to a defensive 3 or 4. I would rather focus on what approach do we give on the game and what we want to convey on the pitch. Thank you so much, Gerard.